Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us for this ribbon cutting today for the Broughton Streetscape project, a major infrastructure project here in the city of Savannah, and of course on top, a beautiful beautification project here right in the heart of Savannah. We have a lot of guests and a lot to get to today. We'd like to welcome all of you, especially the media, for joining us today, our visitors from here around City of Savannah, city staff, and of course business owners throughout our city. Our elected officials with us today, our Mayor Van Johnson behind me, along with Post 1 at-large Keisha Gibson Carter, the Alderwoman.
Thank you.
You got your clap. All right.
I got it.
You want one more time? Dietrich Leggett is the alderman for this district. It's District 2 we're in. He's with us as well. And visiting us from District 4, Nick Palumbo. Our city manager, you'll hear a lot more about this project and about the process of the project from him. Jay Melder is with us, along with Assistant City Manager Heath Lloyd. They get claps too. Our police chief, Lenny Gunther, and our fire chief, Elsie Kitchen, also joining us. Our public safety servants, thank you very much for joining us as well today. There are many others to be thanked throughout this project, but those will be thanked by our speakers today. So we'll start off with our Mayor Van Johnson.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and thank you for joining us in what is called Ground Zero of the greatest city on earth. We know her as Savannah, right? Yeah. So this is Main Street in Savannah. And we're so glad to be here to really celebrate the day we thought would never come, which was celebrating completion of Savannah's Main Street. This, as you remember, the voters wanted this to make it happen. And so we stepped forward to this challenge, not necessarily recognizing what we would find when we started digging. And so the project went on and on and on and on and on and on. Then COVID came about and the project went on and on and on. But there's one thing that I love and appreciate about Savannah is our ability to stick with it, stay with it, and don't stop until it gets done. And so that is what we're celebrating here, the stick-to-itiveness of Georgia's first city. In spite of what we found, in spite of the work stoppages, in spite of the multiple challenges that came before us, we stuck with it, stood with it until we got it done. We recognize that this caused a lot of inconvenience to a lot of folks for a lot of reasons, all at different times of the year. But what I do submit to you is that now you have an improved product. You have an improved streetscape that now we will all be able to enjoy for many, many years to come. This is what we are able to do as local government, getting down to the granular level and making sure that our historic corridors get the attention that they deserve. Amid all of the new growth and the new development that we're seeing going on in other areas of the city, we want to make sure that our Main Street remains Main Street. Today also shows that our city remains committed to providing quality spaces for both residents and those visiting our city to shop, eat, and enjoy our local small businesses, which we know are the hubs of our economy. Let's give a big round of applause to our local small businesses. And most importantly, today's event shows that the city of Savannah will continue to rise to meet every challenge, will continue to rise to see projects through to a successful conclusion. And I'm so grateful for the many members of Team Savannah. I know they'll be introduced individually or by their teams, but all of the members of Team Savannah, if you just wave your hands, let's give a big round of applause to these amazing public professionals who have continued to work, and they were Savannah strong because we got it done. God bless. Thank you all so much. And certainly, Alderman Leggett, this is in the 2nd district. When I was on council, it was the 1st district. So there. Thank you. I got it.
I got it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Everybody say yeah.
Yeah.
Say yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we got to the finish line, but before we get started, I just want to say thank you to Mr. Heath Lloyd. Because, and the reason why I say that is because 3 years ago, the day before Thanksgiving, Heath Lloyd and I stood outside as the big brick pavers were going in. We didn't go home. We did not allow any of these company employees to go home because we were thinking about the city of Savannah and the visitors and the residents who live here. But it wasn't just the visitors and the residents, but the business owners that live and do all the work up and down this corridor. The most important people here. So these businesses, we take our hat off to you. We applaud you for your patience, the challenges that we went through, not only as a council, but as Team Savannah, who had to go through days and nights of finding out what's going on underground and how can we lift up this city and how could we make sure that the businesses knew that we were actually thinking of them. We thank you. The second district, thank you. And the vision of what the second district held, we want to make sure that what's happening downtown echoed what's happening in town. And we got there. So we celebrate this city, not only from the river, but all the way to Victory Drive. We show just how special this city can be as a whole. We didn't do it by ourselves, but as a collective, we look good. Say yeah.
Yeah.
As you look at where we at the center portion of Bull Street. And right here is a large compass rose. But in this compass rose, it can show you. Savannah State says you can get anywhere from Savannah State, but you can get anywhere in the city from Bull Street at this compass rose. So thank you. We enjoy you. And we implore you to come out and spend money and spend time down here on River Street. River Street, Broughton Street, and every street that leads in and out of the city. So we thank you, Mr. Mayor. We thank you, Mr. Lloyd, and this guy. We're going to have a good time. Our city manager.
Thank you. You got me.
I got you. I got you.
I got to rely on.
I got you.
He can't do a LeBron James.
I did want to say, certainly District 2 is a lot about streetscape improvements because just a month ago we cut a ribbon on Waters Avenue streetscape. Right. So our growth to the east and our business district to the east growing as well. So with that, we've been through several city managers throughout this project, but thankfully we finished up with our current city manager, Jay Melder, who will welcome our assistant city manager, Heath Lloyd, after him. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate it. Great to be here at the intersection of Main and Main.
All right.
Broughton and Bull. When I moved to town a year and a half ago, I rented an apartment right up there and moved in while the street was closed down and fought for parking every night and saw the work firsthand every day as I walked a couple of blocks to my office and saw it every day as I walked a couple of blocks home. It's been an amazing transformation of the street, and I've got a lot of people to thank, but I want to start first with our businesses and our residents here on Broughton Street. This project started, absolutely. This project started in 2016 as a voter-approved referendum on a SPLOST list. And our businesses and our business associations and our business community, led by Downtown Business Association and the Chamber of Commerce, they got together and put together a plan for Broughton Street that would see a streetscape from storefront to storefront, from Martin Luther King to East Broad Street. And today we're proud to cut the ribbon on the most complicated phase one of that project, which saw the revitalization and the streetscape from Martin Luther King all the way through the intersection of Drayton and Broughton Street. And I want to dive into a little bit of the history of Broughton Street, but really just to make sure that people understand that this has always been Savannah's main street. This street was laid out by General James Oglethorpe in 1733. He named it after Thomas Broughton, who was the lieutenant governor of South Carolina when Georgia was a colony, and was founded, and he was considered a friend of the settlers of Savannah. And since that day, in 1733, Broughton Street has been the main commercial corridor for the city of Savannah, and today it remains the main commercial corridor for the city of Savannah. So I want to thank first the businesses along Broughton Street, the businesses who have been here for decades, for centuries, the businesses who have been here for 5 weeks, and the businesses who will be here in the future. This streetscape is for you, and this streetscape is to ensure that that Broughton Street remains the commercial corridor that it was intended to be by General Oglethorpe and will be in the future. Broughton Street was also the location of really important events and movements in the city of Savannah's history. In the 1960s, Broughton Street became the focus of Savannah's civil rights movement. On March 16, 1960, black students led by the NAACP Youth Council staged sit-ins at white-only lunch counters. African-American leaders, including W.W. Law, organized an 18-month boycott for Broughton Street merchants that forced Savannah's leaders to compromise on civil rights. So a very important place not only for business, but also for civil rights and the advancement of people in the city of Savannah and everywhere in this nation. Since 1950, every generation has undergone an initiative to improve and brighten this corridor, but none as significant as the work that we're cutting the ribbon on today. So I want to thank those who helped to make this fruition. Number one, starting with our Broughton Street businesses and our business association who helped lead the effort on the SPLOST initiative. Of course, we need to thank the mayor and council for their continued support of this project, even when it was difficult to support as challenges with the construction continued to mount. I want to thank our project lead, who's been thanked before, and I always say nothing gets done in this city without the helping hands of our Assistant City Manager, Heath Lloyd. And this was definitely a project that he and many people muscled through. I want to thank Christy Lawrence from our Capital Projects team, including Byron Stiles. Where's Byron at? Who is the project manager here? Good work, Byron. I want to thank Doug Patton and James Woods. I want to thank Christian Shellman from Municipal Operations, who is our project coordinator. I want to thank Chandler Crawford and Susan Broker, who many of the businesses here on Broughton Street know very well for the last couple of years of engagement here. I want to thank Brett Bell as well. Todd Willis from Water and Sewer Construction. I don't know if folks know this, but when we started digging the street back a few years ago, we found some really old water lines, and we had to replace those. And we want to thank our water and sewer teams for being able to do that. Steve Henry and Ton Vu from Traffic. I want to thank our project leads from our engineering team, Kona Gray and Rob Hutchinson's our contractor at Astra Construction. And this, to let y'all know that all in, this is a $13.3 million project. And we're going to get started pretty soon on identifying a fully funding and a plan for phase 2, which is going to take this improvement all the way to East Broad, where this improvement belongs. So Lowell, hopefully this is the last time that I've got to close down Broughton Street for a while. I want to again start where I ended up, just thanking the businesses and the stakeholders here along Broughton Street who worked with us over the last 3 years to make sure that we could get this done. And now to say a few words as the man who muscled this through, Mr. Heath Lloyd. Thank you.
All right, good. He said muscle. You heard him. He said muscle. He said muscle. So good afternoon. I am certainly delighted to be here today, but delighted to be a part of this project. But before I get started, I want to say about 5 words, right? So failures, setbacks, missteps, mistakes, and miscommunication. And I say those to say this project was difficult. You know, the mayor, he put one extra on and on, but truly, this was a very difficult project. And so, through those failures, setbacks, missteps, mistakes, and miscommunication, we stand here today. But I want to make sure that we acknowledge those because it's important to the businesses to understand this was not a perfect project. Not the way I drew it up on my board in the office. Certainly didn't think it would take this long. I lost about 3 years of my life on this one, but it is certainly a project that was well worth it. And so as we stand here today on what is most certainly a beautiful day, I'm excited that we're able to get here. Excited that we stand on a campus rose. Because today what I really want to share with you from my infrastructure perspective is what's my compass. None of these projects are easy. They just are not. This one was no different. We will continue to do better and we'll continue to work harder, but we understand they're going to be difficult. So my compass rose is a person that I admire, JFK. I listened to his speech about the moon, right? So I'm going to share with you 2 quotes that he said that really identifies and exemplifies this project. So first he said, all great and honorable actions are accompanied with great difficulties, and both must be enterprised and overcome with answerable courage. If this project took nothing, it took answerable courage. Not just courage from our city staff, but certainly courage from the businesses. But I want to unpack that. Not just the businesses, the storefronts, but certainly those who work in those businesses, those who were impacted, the families that were impacted. And we, as a capital projects team, we understand that. But I stand here today to say, we as a team, we overcame. Because remember, with all great and honorable actions, you have great difficulties, but the challenge is to overcome them. And so I leave you today with that one thought to say, this represents an opportunity where we as a city, we as business owners, we as patrons, we as families that work in those businesses, we overcame this project together. And for that, I am truly thankful for the partnership. So thanks to all the businesses. Thank you for working with us. Thank you for always being somebody we could talk to. And thank you for always listening. We were listening as well. So the second thing I want to say that JFK talks about in this speech is this. Some might say, why Broughton Street? Right? Why Broughton Street? Why? We do the projects that are hard. What he said was, we do it not because they're easy, but because they are hard. Because those projects serve to organize and measure the best among us. This was a difficult project, but I assure you what the mayor was referring to is it took the best in all of us to get it done. And not just the best of the City of Savannah employees, but the best of our businesses. Because that's how you move mountains. That's how you get projects like this done. It takes the best. And further, he said, it's a challenge that we are willing to accept. One that we will not postpone. It would have been easy to say, how about push that project down the road? Let somebody else tackle it. But today, I stand here knowing that we, with the help of our city manager, our city government, our mayor, our council, our business owner, we were able to get it done. And I am so proud to be a part of the team. The last one, which is important for those behind me because they know me, he said, we intend to win on this project and others too. That's important because I don't think this is going to be our last ribbon cutting. The city manager stood here and he talked about the next phase. It's important to understand that this is just the first win or the second win because we did win on Waters Avenue. We're going to continue to win on these streetscape projects because they are worth it. Because that's what public works and infrastructure is about. It's about moving forward the hard projects, not because they are easy, but truly because they are hard. So again, thank everybody for coming out today. I really appreciate all of the hard work from all of my team. I certainly appreciate all the support from the businesses and mayor and council. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Heath. We'd also like to welcome Alderwoman Alicia Miller-Blakely, who's joined us, and next to her, Alderwoman Burnetta Lanier from District 1 for joining us for today's event as well. I know Heath and the city manager, they all mentioned about the business. I believe there are between 60 and 80 businesses up and down, certainly playing a key role in Broughton Street, a destination for businesses. Brooke Goth is with the Downtown Business Association, certainly an asset to us, one that has helped work with the businesses throughout the process. Brooke?
Thank you. Hi, everyone. As mentioned, I'm Brooke Goth, the Executive Director of the Downtown Business Association. I remember first hearing about the Broughton Streetscapes project when I was in Leadership Savannah in 2019. The renderings we saw were just beautiful, and I couldn't wait to see the finished project. As with any construction project, this one has not been without its growing pains. While there have certainly been hiccups and delays that we could not have foreseen, we are at the finish line. I cannot wait to see our sidewalks full of visitors again and bringing that air of Savannah back into our businesses along Broughton Street. Our small businesses are the backbone of this community, and we are looking forward to seeing them thrive again. On behalf of the Downtown Business Association, I look forward to continuing to facilitate dialogue and collaboration between the city and our Broughton Street businesses so we can work together for a better Savannah.
Thank you very much, Brooke. Thank you again for everyone for coming today. We thank the local media. If you'd like any interviews afterward, certainly we will set you up with whoever you'd like to interview. If we could all step aside, our elected officials and city staff behind the ribbon, we will cut the ribbon and put a close to phase 1 of this Broughton Streetscape project. Thank you again for coming.
Count down from 5, okay? Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do it, T. All right. Let the traffic commence.